Wellness Warrior. I remember a time when I was feeling pressure to lose weight. I even had people that have the nerve to say to me, gosh, you're so pretty. If you would only lose some weight. Like that was a sentence that was said to me. We live in a society that feels fine to tell us that we should weigh a certain amount. And then we feel pressure to weigh less than we weigh. Now, I'm not going to pretend that I didn't have weight to lose, because I did. But was it necessary for that person to tell me what he told me? That statement had an impact on how I saw myself. And I'm sure that if you've ever lived a similar situation, it might not have been some idiot like that, but even a well-meaning family member just saying, oof, do you really need that extra piece of pie? Or a doctor saying, you know, your health will benefit if you ate differently, or maybe even straight out saying your health will benefit if you lose 40 or 50 pounds. A lot of these comments are well-meaning, but it still puts pressure on us, on me, to lose weight when I didn't know how, and nothing that I was doing was leading to weight loss. That changed the way that I looked at myself. It changed the way that I looked at food. And it changed the way that I looked at socializing, which is the part that's scary, because if I'm not comfortable in my own skin to go out and be around people, then that means that I'm spending too much time by myself. And if I'm spending too much time by myself, I'm probably unhappy about it. And what do we do when we're unhappy? We self-soothe with food. So this pressure that we feel to lose weight often results in us actually gaining weight, because we're avoiding people, we're avoiding the topic, and we're self-soothing with food. At least I know on occasion I was. All of my weight gain, though, wasn't about self-soothing with food. Some of it was about confusion about how to lose weight. But this is where it's so problematic, right? Because I wanted to lose weight. I had done everything the doctor told me to do to lose weight. I'd done everything that trainers say to do to lose weight. Now, maybe the stuff for the trainer was saying I didn't put in enough of an effort because I don't like working out. But definitely on occasion, I did what the nutritionist said I should do to lose weight. Somehow it wasn't working, and all eyes were on me. If I'm overweight, the consensus is I'm lazy, I eat too much, I'm not trying. But Wellness Warrior, is that true for you? Are you not trying to lose weight? Are you just sitting at home doing nothing and letting the weight come on? I don't think that that's the reality for most of us who are overweight. Those constant looks from judging eyes of people who believe they know what my story is keeps me stuck, because when you judge me, I start judging me too. And I get focused on the fact that I'm fat more so than I'm focused on how will I change it. Because again, how many things had I already tried and I wasn't able to change it? We get into this negative mindset about who we are and what we look like, and we end up beating ourselves up just as much as those people who think they know why we're overweight. Depending on where you are in life, your body's doing different things. And what's frustrating to me is that sometimes I'll hear teenagers talking about trying to lose weight. And what's difficult about that is that in your teenage years, your body is actively trying to put on weight. But I see these young kids struggling to not gain anything, and some of them are not even overweight. Why are they struggling? Because in our society, the idea that you have extra weight on you, nope. And if you're female, even worse. Men get away with more. They can carry a bit more on them. But even for men, there's a point at which they're getting looks too. So since we know that there are certain stages in life where we will be putting on weight, and since we know that today, you and I, Wellness Warrior, we know that the way that we're encouraged to eat isn't actually helping us to be at a healthy weight. Why is it that with all this knowledge today, we are still so focused on the number on the scale, right? The measure of good health is whether you are at the lowest end of the weight range for your height. Why is that what's happening? But because that's what we focus on, we all feel this enormous pressure to lose weight, even when we're at a healthy weight, right? Because I could be right in the middle of that scale, but it's not good enough. I need to be at the lower end of the scale. We need to learn to pay attention to what's actually important. And we haven't done that for years. We haven't looked at our health from a perspective of what's healthy to eat. We haven't looked at our health as a holistic, like what is the body doing? Nope. My heart is for the cardiologist. My mind is for the psychiatrist. My weight is for the nutritionist. Every piece of me is split apart rather than realizing that we're one whole person. And therefore, we need to understand that if I have dental issues, that impacts the food I eat. And that the food I eat impacts the fact that I have dental issues. And that all of that's going to impact the weight I'm at. And maybe it's going to impact my blood pressure and so on, because it's not one part of me that's being impacted without the rest of me being impacted. So coming back to weight, we're so focused on how much I weigh, but nobody's talking about why do I weigh that amount? What am I eating? Well, we are talking about it, but from the perspective of you can't be possibly doing the healthy grains and fruits and starches and meats and the serving sizes that the government and doctors are telling you to, because otherwise you'd be at a healthy weight. And I want you to consider that that's not true. Wellness Warrior. It's not. Many people are doing everything that the Canada Food Guide, American Food Guide, whatever your country is inserted, their food guide is telling them to do. And they're working out. And still, their weight is rising. The marker of success isn't the number on the scale. And if we keep trying to say that having a specific number on the scale is what we're trying to accomplish, we're going to keep failing at being healthy, because that's not the marker that we should be aiming at. What we should be aiming at is feeling healthier, which means I don't walk around in pain all the time, which I used to do. It means having energy, because I was walking around tired all the time. That wasn't good for me. It means mental clarity, because I didn't realize that I could be thinking this clearly, the way that I think today, 6 years ago. 6 years ago, I wasn't thinking like this. And the worst part is I didn't even know that I wasn't thinking like this, because I wasn't thinking like this. But today it feels like if someone just kind of moves some clouds away from in front of my eyes, and I can just see everything more clearly and understand things more easily. And it's pretty cool. One of the other things, eating properly equals healthier. And now, I've said it a few times. We eat the way the Canadian Food Guide, American Food Guide tells us to eat, and we are gaining weight. So then what's the real solution to this weight gain story that we are all on? Every person who follows these guidelines are on the same weight gain story, poor health story. Let me change that to poor health story, because not all of us gain weight right away. I lived the first 30 years of my life at a healthy weight, but I had joint pain. A lot of people are at a healthy weight, but they have skin issues. And we have other people that are at a healthy weight, but they have PCOS, and so on, and so on, and so on. And why does that happen? This body that's overweight that we keep hating on is so good at keeping us alive that we don't even realize that it's gaining weight, because if it didn't do that, we would be poisoned by the amount of sugar that we're eating. I'm not going to go too far into that, because I have lots of videos on the channel that you can go watch that talks about why we shouldn't be eating so much sugar. My point is, if I don't understand that my body is actually saving me from dying by increasing my weight, then I don't stop and see what is it that I'm eating that's causing my body to do this in the first place. Because the weight gain is an insulin story. I need to know what's raising my insulin for me to be able to get my weight under control. And once you do that, you'll be amazed, Wellness Warrior, at how quickly your body can turn a story around. I was in shock because I went from 70 pounds overweight, in intense pain, not able to walk or sit like what I'm doing right now. Intense pain. I went from that state to no longer in pain, all of my joints, not just my hip, all of my joints feeling better, 3 months. And I was at this current weight that you're looking at right now, 5 months later. I've been at this weight for the last 5.5 years. So, was the food that I was eating causing the problem? Yes. Did I know that at the time? No. Was everybody blaming me for being overweight and putting all this pressure on me that I had? Yes. Was the pressure helping me to change? No. What the pressure did was it got me to feel bad and indulge in the same foods that were causing my weight to be out of control. Unrealistic weight goals are coming from our society, right? We have all these unrealistic weight goals that say we should be the thinnest we possibly can be. We should have the least amount of body fat on us. That's not actually healthy. Now, should we be overweight? That's not healthy either. But the pressure to be at the thinnest, smallest number on the scale isn't the answer. It isn't helping any one of us to change our story. Trying to use willpower to not eat the garbage foods that everybody else is eating because somehow in our society we believe that we should be able to eat garbage food and still be at a good weight isn't the answer. That's more pressure, right? Right? How come you can't just eat pasta and be thin like everybody else? That's pressure, Wellness Warrior. All right? And that's why it doesn't feel good when people tell you that, oh, just one time, don't worry about it. When you know inside that if I eat that whatever, cookie, chocolate bar, whatever it is, for the next 4 days, I'm going to be overeating stuff like that. It's pressure. How do we get away from that pressure? It's by understanding, first and foremost, it's the food that determines what I'm going to weigh. And that's just reality of what my body is trying to accomplish. But the next thing I want you to do is realize that when I give my body the food that helps it to regulate itself, I actually feel better. Do you think that if I feel good about myself, about what I'm doing, about how my body feels, even if I haven't lost the weight yet, but I feel better in my body because I'm not in pain, do you think that that will be encouraging to me? Only if I let myself pay attention to it. We're so focused on what other people think about how we look that even if we eat well and feel amazing, we do not let ourselves pay attention to it because the number on the scale didn't move. And I want us to change that. I want us to pay attention to the non-scale victories that most of us live when we change from eating a high carbohydrate diet to a low carb diet like keto or carnivore. When we do that, I've not met a person yet who did it and didn't say they felt amazing. So why do we stop? We stop because of the pressure that we get from people. You tell me you can't just have one donut? Come on, I bought this for Mary's birthday. How are you being a party pooper? Double-edged sword, right? Be like everybody else. Eat the garbage food, but still lose weight. Right? Because if I actually hate my body, I'm not going to be able to engage this process. Because if I hate something, I don't make any attempt to make it better, to fix it, right? If you've ever hated anything that you owned, if you hated it, you threw it away. Or you gave it away. You got rid of it somehow. We can't get rid of our body. But what we end up doing, because we hate what we look like, is we stop letting ourselves look at ourselves. You'd be surprised how good we get at looking in the mirror to adjust our clothes and to make sure, but not actually seeing ourselves. It's not the answer, Wellness Warrior, but it's what we do. And why do we do it? Because we've been taught that unless we are at that number, what are you doing? And so we don't want to look at ourselves unless we're at that number. Your body is doing the best that it can with the resources that you're giving to it. And can I just say, it's doing a damn good job, because you're still here watching this video with me. If you want your body to do even better, you need to give it healthier food, which means that we take the carb count down, we make sure we get the right amount of protein and fat, and we allow ourselves to be healthy, because a healthy body absolutely will regulate its weight. Did you know that? That a healthy body will, on its own, put your weight back to where it's supposed to be, but it needs to get the food that it can allow it to be healthy. Because every single day, whether you're thinking about it or not, your body is doing processes to try to correct whatever is happening internally. It's always trying to solve. It corrects for what's happening. So if what's happening is large amounts of sugar are coming in, then it's going to correct for large amounts of sugar coming in by storing that sugar away as fat. If large amounts of sugar stop coming in, it no longer has to do that. And now it can start correcting internal things that have been causing problems. And one of the things that possibly is causing a problem is the weight that you weigh. What we're going to do is we're going to stop picking on ourselves for being overweight, because first of all, we've been taught to eat in a way that's led to us being overweight. Now that we know what to do, we're going to apply it. But second of all, once I start applying this, I will see changes in how I feel. I will see changes in how I'm thinking. I will know I'm taking good care of myself. And just the fact that I know I'm taking better care of myself is a win. I would love to know what you think about this topic today. Do you agree that what we need to do is focus our attention on the food we're eating and just put down the numbers on the scale? If you do, put that in the comments below. If you disagree with me, if you think there's something else, let me know about it. But if you're ready to start today eating healthier and get your life under control, there's a playlist right here that I want you to click into that talks about how you stop emotional eating. What you need to do is learn how to enjoy eating healthy food so that you can enjoy your life in a healthy body. So click on the link. I'm going to meet you over there.